Alright, let's move on to the next subtopic. So before that, we recall back a little bit what we have learned in our chapter 6. First, you have learned how to determine your independent and the dependent variable. And then number 2, scatter plot. Plot to see the direction of your relationship. And then number 3, you have learned how to calculate R and interpret R, correlation, coefficient. And number 4, you have learned how to calculate and interpret the R square, coefficient of determination. And then number 5, you have learned how to construct the simple linear regression model, find beta naught cap, beta 1 cap. And number 6, you have learned how to predict or estimate using the simple linear regression model. So now we move to the 6.4. You will have linearity test. In linearity test is actually we want to test without calculation, without manual calculation. We will use hypothesis testing to test is there any relationship between x and y. Okay, and also the last subtopic is how to construct regression using Microsoft Office Excel. Okay, when we talk about test, linearity test, we will go back to our chapter 5, which is hypothesis testing. So recall back our hypothesis testing, we will have 5 steps. Okay, so in hypothesis testing, in simple linear regression, you will have beta naught and beta 1, but we consider only beta 1. Okay, and the main focus here is the ANOVA. How to conduct the hypothesis testing for the simple linear regression. Okay, what are the procedure? Okay, the hypothesis testing. Step number 1. Step number 1 is formulate your hypothesis. You have to determine what is your H null and H1. So in this subtopic, we want to test is there any relationship between x and y? Is there any relationship between x and y? Test using ANOVA. Okay, step number 1. Determine your H null and H1. Okay, where your H null is beta 1 equals to 0, or you can write down there is no linear relationship between x and y. If our H null beta 1 equals to 0, our H1 will be beta 1 is not equals to 0. What does it mean by beta 1 is not equals to 0? Means that there is a relationship between x and y. So you want to test between these two. Is there any relationship between x and y? So use this hypothesis. So what is step number 2? Step number 2 is your test statistic. So the test statistic in linearity test is the F test. So F test we will calculate using ANOVA table. We will construct an ANOVA table. Okay, step number 3 is the critical value. So we will use this one. F alpha, nu1 and nu2. Okay, and step number 4, we make a decision by comparing F test with the F critical value. So what is the condition? H null is rejected if F test greater than F critical value. So this F test greater than F critical value, reject H null. And step number 5 is your conclusion. Okay. So the hypothesis testing. So this is the ANOVA table. ANOVA table is used to calculate the F test. Step number 2. After your H null and H1, step number 1, step number 2 is F test. In order for you to have the F test, you have to construct this ANOVA table. So this general form ANOVA table, you have to remember. First, we start with source of variation, and then sum of square, degree of freedom, and mean square. At the row, from the column, you have the regression, residual, and total. So let's look at one by one. Sum of square total, SST, is equals to SYY. SYY, how to get SYY? You have learned before how to calculate SYY. Okay, next, SSR, sum of square regression, is equals to beta 1 cap times SXY. So, beta 1 cap and SXY, you have learned before how to calculate this one. So, you just substitute into this formula, you will get the sum of square regression. How do we get the SS residual? Here. So, you just minus this SYY minus the SSR. You will get the SS residual. Okay. Next, degree of freedom. Degree of freedom regression is always 1. Degree of freedom total is total data minus 1. Total sample size minus 1. So how do we get degree of freedom here? Okay, degree of freedom total minus degree of freedom regression, you will get degree of freedom residual. Okay, next, move to the mean square. How do we get mean square regression? Mean square regression is equals to SSR divided by 1. How do we get mean square residual? Mean square residual is equals to SS residual divided by degree of freedom residual. You will get this. And our main point, we want to find the F test. So our F test formula is MSR divided by MS residual. So this MSR values divided by this MSRES, you will get the F test. So this is for step number 2, how to find the F test. So in order for you to find the F test, you have to construct all this ANOVA table. Okay, you have to remember the position and the formula. Okay, so let's look at the example. How to use linearity tests. Okay, now we will look at how to solve example 6.3a, example of the linearity test. Okay, read the question. A real estate agent believes that the monthly rent in RM100 of houses depend on the size. Monthly rent depend on the size. So monthly rent and the size of the houses. So we know that monthly rent is Y, depends on the size X. A sample of 8 houses, so N equals to 8 in a residential area was selected and the information gathered is shown below. You will have monthly rent, where is our Y, and then the size is our X. Identify the independent and the dependent variable involved in this study. So the independent is size and the dependent is Y. By completing the following table, test the linearity between dependent and the independent variable. When we have the word test, you will have the hypothesis. Okay, so step number 1, you must take the hypothesis. Step number 2, you must calculate this F test. In order for you to have this F test, you have to go through all this table. So let's look at the solution. Okay, our monthly rent is Y, our size is X. Solution, so independent and the dependent. Right, so in order for us to complete the ANOVA table, we need to complete this one. Okay, we have the sample size N equals to 8, and then summation of X, this one, 83, summation of x square, you square each of these and then you sum it up, you will get 919, and then summation of y, this one, and then summation of y square, when you square all the y up until this one, and summation of x, y, you times and plus, right? Complete this one first. Then find sxx, syy, and sxy. Why? Because we want to complete the table. Okay. Now complete this one. Okay. Sum of square total. SST is equals to SYY. So we have here SST is equals to SYY. We have calculated just now 86.875. SSR is equals to beta 1 times SXY. So you need to find beta 1 first. Beta 1 is equals to SXY divided by SXX. That's why in the previous slide we have to find SXY and SXX. So you will get this beta 1. So beta 1 times SXY, you will get the SSR. Okay, how to get the error? So SS total 86.875 minus 78.4312, you will get the SS residual here. Okay, next, degree of freedom regression is always 1. Degree of freedom total, why 7? Because of our sample is 8. 8 minus 1 equals to 7. So how do we get degree of error here? 7 minus 1. Okay, you will get 6. Next, mean square. How to get mean square residual? So, SSR 78.4312 divided by 1. Okay. Next, how do we get mean square for error? SS residual divided by 6. You will get 1.4073. And last one, how to get F test? The formula is MSR divided by MSRES. You will get 45.7317. Complete your table. So, how to test the linearity? The first step is your hypothesis. H null beta 1 equals to 0. H1 beta 1 is not equals to 0. Step number 2 is your F test. We have calculated just now using the ANOVA table. We get our F test is 55.7317. Step number 3 is the F critical value, F alpha nu1 nu2, where your nu1 is degree of freedom regression, nu2 is degree of freedom error. Okay, so you will get F alpha 0.0516. Look at your stat table, you will get 5.9874. Step number 4, compare. Because of our F test is 55.7317 greater than our F critical value, we reject H null. So what happens if we reject H null? We reject this one. So what is your conclusion? At alpha 0.05, there is a significant linear relationship between monthly rent, between monthly rent and the size. Okay, so there exists a significant linear relationship between monthly rent and size. So ada hubungan kait antara harga sewa rumah dengan keluasan rumah tersebut. Okay, let's do it exercise 6.3a.